Alright guys, so you just watched the fight, and now I'm going to go over my strategy and my loadout because everything in this video was planned out. Some of the stuff went exactly as it was supposed to, while some of it didn't quite go as I wanted, but ultimately I was still able to make it work. So I'll start off by telling you about my loadout. In my left hand, I'm using the Carrion Regal Scepter plus 10, which boosts Full Moon Sorcery. In my right hand, I got the Cold Morning Star with Bloodhound Step. It's not the Morning Star that matters, it's the Bloodhound Step we're going to be using. For my armor, I'm wearing the Snow Witch hat, which increases the potency of cold sorceries by 10%. And I also have on the Veteran's armor and the Bull Goat gauntlets and greaves. Now the armor, the gauntlets, and the greaves don't matter too much, but I would advise picking something that has high damage negation and high poise, just in case she manages to get some hits on you. The talismans I'm using are the Graven Mask Talisman, the Magic Scorpion Charm, the Cerulean Amber Medallion plus 1, and Marika's Sword Seal. In my Flask of Wondrous Physic, I'm using the Magic Shrouding Crack tier and the Cerulean Hidden tier. The sorceries I'm using for this fight are Terra Magica, Comet Azure, Ranni's Dark Moon, and Rykard's Rancor. So phase 1. The strategy here is to keep distance and proc frost damage to take chunks of her health away. In this game, when you proc frost damage with Ranni's Dark Moon, it creates a debuff on the enemy that weakens them, and while that may sound like a good thing in most scenarios, we do not want that in this case because we want to inflict as much frost damage as quickly as possible, and you can't proc it while the debuff is active, and that's where Rykard's Rancor comes into play. So when an enemy's been procced with frost damage, the only way to eliminate the debuff is to hit them with fire damage, which resets the cycle and allows you to reproc the frost after a couple more hits with the Dark Moon. So right at the beginning of the fight, there's this window of opportunity for you to do extra damage as Malenia approaches. So throw down a Terra Magica Sigil and spam 2 Dark Moons at her as quickly as possible, and then swiftly switch to Rykard's Rancor and hurl one of those at her as well. Create some distance and be ready to dodge any attacks that she may throw at you. Once you have some space between you, you must check to see if the debuff is still active or not, or if Rykard's Rancor has done its job. There is a visual aid that lets you know whether a debuff is active. When you see these little blue sparkly bits around her, it means that the debuff is halfway to being procced, and thus confirming that the debuff is not active at this time. Once she is fully procced and the frost damage has taken effect, not only will you see a large chunk of her health go down, but she will also be surrounded by this cold mist. After she takes some fire damage, the cold mist should go away, and you can repeat the debuff process. Everyone knows the most deadly move in phase 1 is the Waterfowl Dance. The easiest and most efficient way to dodge this is by using the Bloodhound Step Ash of War. She will always attack 3 times, and your dodge pattern should be away, away, towards. If you are far enough away from her, then you can just outrun her first attack. The second attack will come in a bit stronger, so do a quick roll or Bloodhound Step away from her, and then be ready for another Bloodhound Step towards her as she quickly transitions into the third attack. Once you master the away, away, towards dodge method, the Waterfowl Dance becomes quite an easy attack to avoid taking damage on. Something else that may occur if you're lucky enough to time it right is that if the Dark Moon hits her just before she does her first attack, it could cancel the whole attack altogether, meaning you won't have to dodge it at all. Once you have these methods carved out, you'll be able to beat her phase 1 quite easily, but one thing you need to also do is be ready for phase 2 before phase 1 ends, because when phase 2 starts, you will want to inflict high damage in a very short amount of time. You will see her health go to about a centimeter left, and I put down another Terra Magica Sigil, and that isn't to help with phase 1. The goal is to land on it right at the beginning of phase 2, so when I start attacking, I'm doing the maximum damage possible. It is not easy to do, and I actually fail at it on this run, but trust me, it's worth attempting for the extra boost in damage. Aside from the sigil, you want to ensure that your health and mana are both topped up, and you drink your Wondrous Physic just before phase 1 ends. Phase 2. Malenia will always start off phase 2 with her Flower Bomb. I had to start off this phase by quickly consuming an FP flask to top up my mana, and as soon as she dives down, you want to Bloodhound Step away or to the side, and then Bloodhound Step back once more to ensure you are out of the rot vicinity. You should try your best to land on the sigil that you planted at the end of phase 1, but if you miss it, do not waste time running towards it or planting a new one, because your window is short and this is where you must beam her with Comet Azure to do maximum damage. Once she finally emerges from her flower, the goal is to create distance and dodge all attacks until she does her Flower Bomb again. Her moves are generally the same as phase 1, albeit much more difficult to dodge, as she is faster and incredibly more aggressive, adding extra swings with each rush. Use Bloodhound Step to stay alive when she sends spirits of herself hurling towards you, and maintain your focus. Dodge roll away from her sword swipes, and use Bloodhound Step when she's coming in fast. I would not advise trying to do much attacking at this point as you are simply outmatched by speed, but if you feel safe hurling another moon at her, then by all means, go for it. Once she jumps up into the air and starts turning orange, you know she's about to do the firebomb again, and this is your chance to finish her off. Get your Comet Azure ready, and just like the first one, you'll want to Bloodhound Step twice to get out of harm's way, and then immediately start nailing her with the spell. At this point, you should hopefully do enough damage to finish her off, and there you go. Just like that, you have beaten the hardest boss in the game on New Game Plus without using any summons or taking any damage. I hope you found some of these tips in this tutorial helpful. Be sure to share it with anyone who may be trying to solo Malenia with a sorcery build. That's going to be it for me for now, so thank you guys for watching. I'm Vile Self. Until next time.
My brother, I'm sorry. I finally met my match.